Welcome to Rolling Hills Radio. Join us for an hour of music and conversation from Shawbucks in Jamestown, New York. Tonight's guests are Don Dixon and Jacob's Ferry Stragglers. Now please welcome our guest host, Todd Burge.
Ooh, doo, doo, doo. I'll never make it out of here alive, but I'll kick and scream and fool myself with the lie that I'll survive, but I'll never make it out of here alive. I look for some distraction to lift me up above the real action. The good times combined make up a small fraction of what's really real with this living deal. I'll never make it out of here alive, but I kick and scream and fool myself with the lie that I'll survive, but I'll never make it out of here alive. Ooh, doo, 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 boo. Boo, doo, doo, doo. Take it, Todd. The wool's been pulled over my eyes, a sheepish grin's been setting in. Truth be told, no one ever really knows what will begin after we're old. I'll never make it out of here alive, but I'll kick and scream and fool myself with the lie that I'll survive, but I'll never make it out of here. I'll never make it out. I'll never make it out.
Rolling Hills Radio is funded in part by the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization REAP Grant Program, with support from the New York State Legislature and Governor Andrew Cuomo, and administered by the Tri-County Arts Council. Rolling Hills is underwritten in part by the Chautauqua Regional Community Foundation and the Jamestown Gazette, the hometown newspaper with good news. Sponsorship also is provided by the Great Blue Heron Festival and the Lakeside Ledger.
Welcome to Rolling Hills Radio, brought to you from Shawbucks, the club concert venue nestled in the entertainment district of the city of Jamestown on the shores of the beautiful Chautauqua Lake. On Rolling Hills Radio, you will hear grassroots Americana music from a wide range of genres. I'm Todd Burge, and I would like to thank Ken Hardley for filling in for me for the last 8+ years. No, seriously though, thanks Ken for having me and inviting me here to host this wonderful program. This episode will feature an eclectic mix of Appalachian sounds and gritty Southern soul. Our first act features musicians from the mountain towns of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland. Their sound draws from old-time bluegrass, rockabilly, and swing music to create their self-described sound, Appalachian Bluegrass. Since they started performing about 5 years ago, they've logged in a lot of miles while touring and have become known for their high-energy shows. Let's welcome the Jacob's Ferry Stragglers to the Rolling Hills Radio Show.
Little boy, little girl, little waterfall world, little valley shaded green. Building up a dam with the mud on their hands, making puddles in a little stream. With eyes so wide they can mirror in the sky, painted true like a pointed blade. Well, my 2 cents don't make much sense. You gotta grow up one day, saying to me that all the things I've seen repeat ain't nothing free. Not the dust beneath my knees. I'm dirty and I'm humble. Now do what I do best. Scatter the pieces and study the mess. So now the years roll by with a wink and your sigh gain knowledge, but it ain't clean. It gets hard to have the faith and believe in a dream that you had when you were 17. 'Cause every story told gets covered with mold. Familiar faces fade. They go back to the phone, everything gets sold, and we're gonna run cold one day. Saying to me that all the things I've seen repeat ain't nothing free. Not the dust beneath my knees. I'm dirty and I'm humble. Now do what I do best. Scatter the pieces and study the mess. So from the very first time that you dare ask why disappointment looms, you spend the rest of your days in an unsure haze, building walls, making little rooms. Take a long look back, be content where you're at, take it all for what it was worth. Well, everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. Seemed to me that all the things I've seen repeat ain't nothing free. Not the dust beneath my knees. I'm dirty and I'm humble. Now do what I do best. Scatter the pieces and study the mess.
What a sweet song! Really, really sweet. Just about as good as it gets. That's the way I heard that. I heard that today, actually, and I had to email the band and tell them how much I love that song.
Thanks.
So let's just get right into. Did you write that yourself, Gary?
I did, yes.
Tell us where that song comes from.
Well, I had taken my nephew on a walk in the woods near my parents' house, where I grew up. And when I was a kid, my sister and I have a younger sister, we used to play in this waterfall. There's a little stream in the woods behind the house, maybe a couple 100 yards back. And we got in trouble so many times at that waterfall. Most notably was the time that we built a dam across it, and my dad found the dam. And that wasn't a good day at our house. But I went back, I took my nephew down there, and I went for a walk. I didn't even know if I'd find it. I couldn't remember exactly which side of the hill it was on, but I went, and I did find it, and I found actually some of our toys were still in the rocks underneath it. I found like a little Matchbox car and stuff, and my nephew was playing in the waterfall there, and I looked at the thing, and I thought, man, that I used to have to like climb over it. You know, I had to reach for the top of it to get over it, and it really only came to about right there. It was just above my knees, you know, and it put me in a mood. Something weird occurred to me, and I went home and wrote that song.
Nice. That's nice. It's just really, it really is a sweet song. So that's on an older album, right? What's the name of the album that's on?
That's on our first album called The Lane Change.
Yeah, and coming up next, you have something that's on a newer album, I'm guessing.
We do.
Yeah,
Actually,
you want to do that right now?
If you'd like us to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, this is an instrumental called The Benezet Blues, written by Ray Bruckman over there on the mandolin.
Great. the Jacob's Ferry Stragglers. Right on. Hey, next we have a man whose musical path thus far has almost been dreamlike. He's a performing singer-songwriter extraordinaire with many solo recordings under his belt. Born in South Carolina, he went to school at the University of North Carolina, where he and some pals started a very influential band called Arrogance. They recorded 6 albums. During this time in that North Carolina music scene, he learned the art and the essence of recording and has produced acts including Marshall Crenshaw, James McMurtry, the Smithereens, and a little-known band, R.E.M. All the while, he has continued to put his own original music out, and that's what we're about to hear right now. Please welcome Don Dixon to the Rolling Hills radio stage.
I woke up, my tears were all in vain. You know the sunshine was your only friend. I began to feel like rain. I was dreaming of an ocean lit by silver from the sky. Rolling in the sound of thunder broke the magic of the night. I saw the sky all clouded over, the ocean turning into blood. I looked back to see you drowning, caught up in the mighty flood. Then I woke up, my tears were all in vain. You know the sunshine was your only friend. I began to feel like rain. Tried and tried to reach out to you, but I was scared that I might die. What kind of man can watch such beauty wash out with the raging tide? Feel the feelings of the dying, breathe the breath of newborn life, cry the tears of love's lost lesson, kiss the lips of death tonight. Oh, oh, then I woke up, my tears were all in vain. You know the sunshine was your only friend. I began to feel like rain. Josephine, can you forgive me? Overlook my foolish dream. I was once a lonely drifter. I do not understand these things. I'll sleep the sleep of dying embers, think the thoughts of living earth, love the love of all the ages, give the gift of second birth. Oh, 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 I woke up, my tears were all in vain. You know the sunshine was your only friend. I began to feel like rain. Oh, oh, I woke up, my tears were all in vain. You know the sunshine was your only friend. I began to feel like rain. I began to feel like rain. Began to feel like rain.
Don Dixon. Hey, what album is that off of, Don?
I think that's on record called The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man. And that's a strong song. And so where was it, what was the inspiration for that
It
tune?
was a dream. It was pretty much woke up, had this dream, wrote the song down. It doesn't often happen like that. Usually there's a little more work involved.
So there's so many things we could talk about when it comes to Don Dixon here, from your production work to songwriting to the fact that you tour with you tour with Mary Chapin Carpenter as part of her band. It's almost like I want to talk about what you don't do, but you happen to be married to Marty Jones, a great yeah. Let's hear it from Marty Jones. And
Call me Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, and but it's just been a storied career thus far, and anytime you try to name drop around Don Dixon while we spent the day together in the car, it's somebody he knows, and you know, trying to impress him, it's hard to do.
I'm just old, Todd. It's a small business. If you're old enough, you eventually have run into everybody.
So tell us this. You probably can't tell us this in a quick minute, but your production career, you know, getting into producing other acts, and there have been so many of them, so many great records put out. And so where did that start for you? Was it where did you start learning how to turn the knobs and making the sounds right?
It was a self-defense. I learned how to make records really because I was interested in recording. I was more interested in making up songs for Sonny and Cher, you know. But I realized to be able to get the sound I wanted, I needed to understand how it worked. And I started doing sessions at a really young age. I started playing bass on sessions. So I was around the studio from about 15 on, and you know, it really was just it's an apprentice job. It's like it's learning how to shoe horses. I mean, it's a lot of it is about just work,
right,
and being around it.
And so you produce all your own records now, obviously, and
well, yeah,
yeah.
I'm just too cheap to hire anybody. If I was rich enough, I'd probably get Glenn Johns to make a record for me.
And this next song you're about to do is a mighty yes. Yes.
Will you help me?
I will help you
Okay.
on this. Okay.
My dad went back to graduate school when I was about 11, and he was in his, I guess he was 50 or something. And he was going to this college called Western Carolina in Cullowhee, North Carolina, which is up in the mountains. It's a little, almost, it wasn't quite, back in the 60s, it wasn't quite as much of a retirement area for Floridians as it is now. But it's like Florida, people who want to come up someplace during the summer when it gets hot. But I went to visit him one summer, and the name of the album is I Lived in the Time of Organ Grinders. So what happened was I went to visit him, and there was a little street fair going on, and sure enough, this was 1962 probably, and there was a organ grinder, a real organ grinder with a little monkey, and he had a cup, and I was fascinated by the little rhesus monkey, and he had a little jacket on and everything, and he came around, and Dad and I were standing there, and the monkey came up, and he had his cup, and he held his cup out, and I looked at it, something was written on it. It said, "Pennies poison for monkey." So I put my penny back in my pocket and got out a dime, you know, and put a dime in the monkey's pocket and the monkey's cup, and I looked at Dad, and the monkey went on to another kid, and I looked at Dad, and I said, "Pennies are poison." Well, and he said, "He just wanted that dime, son. Pennies aren't poison." So I learned my first marketing advice from this monkey in Cullowhee. But I was inspired to write a song about a guy who ran away from home and went to the circus. I was a lonely outcast, a child of a long dark night. No one to love me, no one in my life. I went off to join the circus. Sounded like lots of fun. I shoveled shit in boxcars by the ton. I shadowed the lion tamer. I worshipped him from afar. Reflexes quick as lightning in a jar. Boots as black as jet, hair is turning gray. Cry the night away. Oh, I slept with a bearded lady. I asked her where she came from. She told me that Cincinnati was her home. Got all the clowns together. I told them to make me laugh. Clarabelle stuck a fork into my calf. Laughing at the blood, a busman's holiday, dance the night away. I had luncheon with the organ grinder, slices of bread and cheese. I watched while he fed his monkey mushy peas. I dreamed that I was his monkey, complete with a bright red suit. Strangled by a chain, I passed my cup for loot. I was tipping my hat and smiling, a fugitive from Peru. When I escape, I'll run that bastard through. Skip the missing link, debts will never pay, cry the night away. Oh, skip the missing link, nothing left to say but cry the night away.
That was Don Dixon, folks. You can find him wherever finer music is sold or streamed online. We'll be back with lots more from Don Dixon and the Jacob's Ferry Stragglers, and you don't want to miss our surprise finale song, so stay right there with us, folks.
You are listening to Rolling Hills Radio, episode 87. If you would like to be part of our live studio audience, log on to rollinghillsradio.org to get your ticket today, or call the Rolling Ticket Hotline at 716-294-0416. We'll be back after the break with more from Jacob's Ferry Stragglers and Don Dixon. The second half of our show begins in just a minute. Rolling Hills Radio is brought to you in part by the Jamestown Gazette, Lost Recording Studio, and the Lakeside Ledger. If you would like to be included on the Rolling Hill email distribution list, send your email address to ken@rollinghillsradio.org. To hear or view this episode and all past episodes of Rolling Hills Radio, log on to rollinghillsradio.org. Our YouTube channel can be found at Rolling Hills Radio with Ken Hardley. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now, back to Rolling Hills Radio.
Thank you, Julia Cecila Hanley. We have lots more to go here from Jamestown, New York. We are broadcasting right up the hill from the many things that are right down the hill. We'd like to welcome a new sponsor to our show, the Great Blue Heron Festival in Sherman, New York. They've been at it for 29 years, and we're proud to be associated with this esteemed festival. Thanks to this kind of support, you can find us on non-commercial outlets from coast to coast. We'd also like to mention 2 new affiliates by saying hello to those listening on WITH in Ithaca, New York, and WRUR broadcasting from Rochester, New York. Thanks so much, and welcome to all of you. And as you've often heard Ken Hardley say, we are determined to stay independent of pressure to appeal to a mainstream audience. Getting out of the mainstream of the mass media means that you never know what you're going to hear. But I disagree. Actually, you always know what you're going to hear, and that is music that is homegrown and real, and is presented by folks who live and work each day to share this music with you. You can tell they love what they do. Hats off to Rolling Hills Radio, Ken Hardley and crew, and all non-commercial radio everywhere. Yes. And now, the Jacob's Ferry Stragglers will play another song for us. Let's hear it. Rolling Hills Radio.
Mama once told me with a tear in her eye, child, sit down, have a listen, some stories divide. As you walk down your road, the turns that you take are cast down upon you, not choices you make. And things take time, don't you know? It takes time to know where to go. Sitting with my baby on an October So don't wither in mourning, don't cry out in pain. Shroud yourselves in laughter over all that remains. Good times they return, not without cost. Nothing is replaced, and the memories are lost. And things take time, don't you know? It takes time to know where to grow. No reason to worry, everything is alright. Sitting with my baby on an October night.
The Jacob's Ferry Stragglers. Sweet. Is that off? That's off the newest album? Am I right?
That is, yeah. That's on the album called Poison River last summer.
So you guys are from three different states. Hey, you want to go through and introduce everybody real quick?
Yeah,
that's
sure.
in the band here.
That's over there on the mandolin. You have from Stallstown, Pennsylvania. That's Ray Bruckman. Back there on the upright bass, you have Mr. Evan Bell. He's from Virginia, Frederick, Maryland. Over here on the left, this is Mr. Jody Moser. He's from Cumberland, Maryland. This is the lovely Libby Eddy from Morgantown, West Virginia. And my name is Gary Antall, and I'm from a town called California, Pennsylvania.
Do you guys get together and write songs together, or like that last song? Was it? Do you write them and decide who's going to sing them together? How's this work?
It kind of goes a lot of ways. The one we're going to do next is like that.
Right.
I wrote it and said I don't want to sing that. Libby should sing it. You know.
Okay.
But, things take time there. It's funny. It took time. It took like 4 years to finish that song. The chorus of it was just something that Libby would walk around our house singing. You know, she just sang it over and over again, and I thought, man, that's kind of a nice little chorus for a song, you know. And it took 4 years of trying and failing and then giving up, and then, like, all of a sudden something happened in our lives that, like, I wanted to write a song for Libby to sing about that. You know, that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I asked her if it would be all right if I wrote verses to it, you know, and she said yes, and then she went to her other job. And like 15 minutes later, I sent her a text message with the words. I said, "Will you sing that?" And she said yes. So it worked out. It was like getting married in a song. Like, "Will you marry me?" Yes.
Right. Well, let's hear another song. How about it?
That's sweet.
The Jacob's Ferry Stragglers, folks. You can find them at jacobsferry.com. So.
Why do I have to follow that?
Well, hey, I know. When I talked to Don Dixon about what he was going to play this evening, he said he wasn't quite sure. But I'm pretty certain it's a fairly late number you're going to do now from something fairly recent. Am I right? I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back to Rolling Hills Radio. Let's hear it for Don Dixon, folks.
This is a song about a guy who's too obsessed for his own good. I don't think that you can understand everything I'm going through from your lofty point of view. I could put on robes and worship you. I'm not too proud to bow and scrape, cross myself and pass the plate. I would build a brilliant church to you, give up God and curse my family too. I will pray to you until you have to ring the bells of compassion. Bitter poison from a bitter cup, I would gladly pay the bill, subjugate my own free will. Like a naked monk beneath a tree, I'm holding on to visions of your eternal holy love. I will build a temple in my mind, give up God and curse all mankind. I will pray to you until you have to ring the bells of compassion. Quiet days, sleepless nights, while I cling to my impossible design. I will place you on the plane of the divine. I will build a brilliant church to you, give up God and curse my family too. I will pray to you until you have to ring the bells of compassion. Yes, I will pray to you until you have to ring the bells of compassion. Across the sky, across the sky,
Don Dixon, folks. Don Dixon. So you have one more song you're going to do for us, and I'm told you're going to do it right now.
Yeah, well, you're gonna help me, and
That's
I
right.
hope the guys can join in when they figure out what the chorus is. But I think people like to hear the song that's made you the most money.
Yeah. So
As a rule, that's what they like to hear.
Yeah, somebody that people might know
Well,
played this song. Right?
this has made me the most money because I've had a lot of songs recorded by other artists, but this one was recorded by Joe Cocker in the early '90s, and it did very well. The most money. Put some of my girls through school. Feels so cold on this balancing beam. I see my breath each time I scream. All the time that it takes isn't clear. I simply wish that you were here. I miss being alone with you, being alone with you. I miss being alone with you, alone. I can hear the river, I can see the water. I don't feel so lonely when I'm near the river. I can see the bridges till the morning. I can almost touch you when I'm near the river. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. On a night like tonight in the dark, I sit alone out in the park. Oh, oh, oh. Only days separate me from you. They seem like walls I must break through. I miss being alone with you, being alone with you. I miss being alone with you. Whoa, 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 I can hear the river, I can see the water. I don't feel so lonely when I'm near the river. I can see the bridges, I can taste the morning. Almost touch you when I'm near the river. Oh, I can hear the river. Don't you know that I can see the water? Don't you? I don't feel so lonely when I'm near the river. I can see the bridges, I can taste the morning. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, when I'm near the river, hey, hey, yeah. Now I can hear the river, I can see the water, I can taste. I don't feel so lonely. I don't feel so lonely when I'm near the river, river, river. I can see the bridges. Oh, now yes, I can see the morning. I can almost touch you when I'm near the river, river. Come on now, I can hear the river, can see the water. I don't feel so lonely anymore when I'm near the river. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don Dixon, folks. You can find him everywhere online. Don Dixon. Well, thanks so much. Hey, I'd like to thank Rolling Hills Radio, Ken and crew, for inviting me here today to stand in for Ken. It's been a pleasure. You know, I always tell my kids, and I have students. I teach songwriting at West Virginia University there in Morgantown, West Virginia, and that live music only happens once. And that's why you should be there. And as much as you can be there, we're glad you were here. So we thought it would be expected of us to close this wonderful show with a finale song that encapsulates the feel of the evening. So we didn't really do that. But however, we did pick this Bahamian folk song from Nassau. And we were thinking you might know it, and we'd like to play
Nassau, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, of course. But it sounds exactly like this on an evening exactly like this one. We come on the sloop John B., my grandfather and me. Around Nassau town we did roam, drinking all night, got into a fight. I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. Hoist up the John B. sail, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain ashore, let me go home. I wanna go home.
Let me go home.
Won't you let me go home?
I
Feel so broke up, I wanna go home. Let's hear from a straggler.
Well, the first mate, he got drunk, broke in the captain's trunk. The constable had to come and take him away. Sheriff John Stone, why don't you leave me alone? Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel so broke up, I wanna go home.
Everybody.
So hoist up the John B. sail, see how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain ashore, let me go home. I wanna go home.
Let me go home.
Oh, won't you let me go home?
Let me go home.
I feel so broke up, I wanna go home. Let's hear that dobro, man. Hey, Gary.
Poor cook, he got the fits, threw away all my grits, and then he took and he ate up all my corn. Let me go home. Why won't you let me go home? Oh no, this is the worst trip that I've ever been home. Oh,
everybody sing it.
Oh, oh, oh.
So hoist up the John B. sail. See how the mainsail sets. Call for the captain ashore. Let me go home.
I wanna go home.
Let me go home.
Oh, won't you let me go home?
Come on, let me go home. I feel so broke up. I wanna go home. I said one more. I feel so broke up. I wanna go home.
Hey, you could have spent your time in any way you wanted, but we're honored you chose to spend it with us. Thanks to Jacob's Ferry, Stragglers, and Don Dixon. I'm Todd Burge in for Ken Hardley. He'll see you next time on Rolling Hills Radio.
You've been listening to Rolling Hills Radio, episode 87. Special thanks to Don Dixon and Jacob's Ferry Stragglers. The Rolling Hills Radio cast and crew are producer Kathy L. Duce Hardley, audio Steve making sound look easy Chapel, assistant director making everything look easy Diamond Dick Gould, people mover Brianne Fidel, assistant to people mover Tom Fidel, random comments Nicole Chapel, standing in front of the men's room Susan George, administrative director and internet Luddite Jim Goodling, picking up the kids from school Kip Reynolds, and advisor and explaining omnibus to Diamond Dick Ed Tomasini. I'm Julia Cecil Hanley reminding you that gravity affects time. Please join us next time on Rolling Hills Radio with Ken Hardley.